Hey, pump the brakes for just a minute. I want to explain how nitric oxide works in the body when it comes down to blood flow, when it comes down to brain activity, and when it comes down to overall muscle performance and cellular performance. Okay, you don't have to just go load up on a nitrous oxide product. Okay, it's not always necessary. Now, they have a place, but I want to explain how veggies and how food actually affects nitric oxide and how you can get the biggest benefit. But first, I have to explain what nitric oxide really is, because so many people that I talk to just think that it's an NO2 capsule that you take. That's not the case, not at all. Here's how it works. Inside your arteries, you have something called the endothelial layer, okay? And you have endothelial cells that are in the artery that produce nitric oxide. Yes, the cells in your arteries already naturally produce nitric oxide. It's the job of that nitric oxide to do a couple things. But for the sake of this video, it's mainly able to penetrate through the smooth muscle tissue and thereby allow the vasodilation, which is the opening of the arteries, and more blood flow, so you can get more nutrients and more oxygen to the cell to better your performance and better how you feel. Now, there's something important that we have to know, though. Nitric oxide production is ultimately created by the immune system. See, it's made up of macrophages, which are a specific type of white blood cell. A lot of people don't realize this, that the NO2 system in our body is actually part of our immune system. It plays a role in killing off bacteria and killing off viruses and keeping the endothelial layer of the arteries healthy. A lot of us always forget that the arteries are living and they have cells in there, and that controls how big, how small the arteries get, and that controls our oxygen delivery and our overall nutrient delivery. Now let's explain how this pertains to performance for a second. I want you to imagine training at high altitude, going and working out at super high altitude. We all know that that's difficult, right? It's really tough because you're not getting much oxygen. Now think about training at sea level. It's a lot easier because you're getting plenty of oxygen. Well, the same thing happens inside your body when you have enough NO2 or not enough NO2. Since nitric oxide increases blood flow, it increases oxygen delivery, but it actually increases oxygen uptake within the cell too. And this is where I get totally jazzed on the science. See, it has to do with something known as a cytochrome, okay? A Cytochrome C Oxidase to be specific. The cytochrome blocks what's known as the respiratory chain. The respiratory chain is really a fancy way of describing what happens when your body actually uptakes oxygen and delivers it to a cell and utilizes it. Well, here's the thing. That Cytochrome C Oxidase stands in front of the cell and it blocks a percentage of the oxygen from being delivered, also thereby blocking the delivery of some nutrients. So where does nitric oxide come in? Well, nitric oxide comes in and it's powerful and it pushes it out of the way. It pushes that cytochrome that's blocking the cell out of the way, therefore making it so that the respiratory chain can be completed. Okay, you can then get more oxygen to the cell, which means more nutrients to the cell. This means a better muscle pump, and it means better recovery after your workout, and it means better blood flow to the brain so you feel better as well. So that being said, let's talk about some science. Let's talk about a little bit of research that proves that nitric oxide plays a huge role in our efficiency with workouts, in our efficiency in everyday life, even with how we think. So this study was published by the University of Exeter.